Hey guys, in this video I thought I'd talk a little bit about what it would be like to live in the Philippines on $300 a month. I was inspired by a viewer who messaged me and said, hey, I don't mind living a very inexpensive life. I don't mind living a Filipino type lifestyle. So I have $300 a month and I think I will be just fine. I tried to explain that life wouldn't be so good, and even as a Westerner, $300 a month is almost impossible to do because we as Westerners have extra charges. And I think somebody, or he had looked online and saw a picture of like a boarding house for, he goes, I found a boarding house for 1,000 pesos. I saw them for 1,500 pesos, 2,000. And I don't think he really understands what something like that would look like. So Maya and I went out and we explored some boarding houses that I will show you here. And I also went out to the grocery store and we kind of looked at some items that would be on the typical menu at maybe a Filipino type home who was perhaps living on 15,000 pesos per month, which is approximately 300 US dollars. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I found at the boarding houses. Is this the common area or something?
Yeah, the eating area,
study area.
and the bed space is 1,100.
1,100. And then shared kitchen and shared CR. Okay. Dog.
My friend rent here before when I was in college.
Oh, okay.
That's her room.
Okay, so this place has rooms available, and we're gonna look. We're not sure what the price is yet, but they would be up there.
Student, workers in the city,
Yeah.
working in the malls. Ang buntag na daw. Nasa may room.
Is there people in here?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, ulong diri?
Oh, nagbulik man eh.
Ah, okay.
So this is how much is this one?
Pila ang
One space.
1.5.
One
Dala
five.
na kuryente to it.
Dala. Mag-charge sa una item.
Like sa alam na. So, water and electricity is free, but if you have a laptop or rice cooker, okay na?
Ang mag-charge laptop o electric fan ang
Charge.
Charge. Okay. So
So
just the light is free.
Yeah, charging of
So,
phone,
200.
200 for extra charge, laptop, and
Oh,
rice
okay.
cooker.
Okay.
Okay.
They have to bring their own mattress, their own
Yes.
foam. Okay. Is there a shared CR?
Share CR?
Wala mo siya diri ka ng pumunta pero daghan.
Ah, okay. So, common, but there's lots of CR.
Lain na mo sa lalaki, lain ko na sa babae.
Ay, napadiraki dire ka ng bayar.
Pero ang lalaki diri ako akong mga pag-umangkon.
Ah,
O patrafon.
let's see.
There's shared CR.
Banyo.
That's the
Bayar.
banyo. Yeah. So it's got a toilet.
It's 1.5.
And sink. And where would they cook? Just
Pwede ba kaluto, Nay? Asa na po?
Nami ang buwan dito.
Abo.
Yeah.
That's where they cook. Okay. That's the cooking area. Okay.
American.
It's all that.
Thank you. Daso na apa. Oo.
So there's an example of a place at 1,500. Basically, you'd have to pay for your own electric. If you wanted to do anything like cook rice, charge phone, things like that is extra. And shared CR, water was included. And what else? That's basically it. Yeah, if you wanted a little fan, you have to bring your own foam for the mattress. Yeah, so, you know, if you're on a small budget and people coming to work and go to college and you're making $15K a month or $20K a month, this is something that you might be living at here in the Philippines. So for people to say that
Near the cemetery.
it's across from the cemetery, it could be scary at night. Okay, so those are some examples. I didn't go around and spend all day looking at different ones. I chose a couple. The one I couldn't get into because there were people sleeping in the room, and it would have been a shared room, so I couldn't just we couldn't just open the door and look because there was somebody in there. And then the other one was empty. They had people staying there, but they did have that empty room, and it would be very common to be sharing that with maybe 4, even up to 6 people sometimes. A shared CR, a shared little kitchen, which you really could hardly make much food, you know. Now, a special treat for a lot of Filipinos would be just going out maybe to like a Jollibee or a Chow King, like a fast food type restaurant. A lot of them will go out and eat like street food, and they'll go to those little calendarias where you stop and you get all the food homemade by somebody, and they sell it along the sides of the roads. So that's kind of what life would be like. And a lot of Filipinos will be working, not just going to school, but working, and they'll be sending money home. So their amount that they live on is even less. When I used to work here in Cebu, you know, we had about 1,000 teachers at our school. And there used to be this one Filipina that I would see all the time. And actually I saw a variety once I started paying attention. But there was this one that I had noticed all the time because she would sit by herself, and she would never be eating in the lunchroom in the cafeteria that we had at our workplace. And so one day I didn't know her. I just walked up and I said, what's going on? You know, I've never seen you eat lunch. And she goes, well, I don't really have the money. And I said, why don't you have the money? And, you know, because I knew the teachers made around $15K, and most of them lived in like a boarding house. And she said, well, you know, Gio, I just don't have the money because I send like 75% of my pay back home. And I was like, why so much? Why don't you send, you know, make sure you have enough for your meals and the things you need, and send the rest back home? And she said, I'm under a lot of pressure from my family. And I really felt pretty bad for her. So back in those days, I had a card that I had a food allowance that they put on it for me because I was in an upper position. I was an English advisor to the school. And I never used it because I didn't really like the food there, and it wasn't expensive to eat out. So I would always go out and grab a snack or something. And I was kind of into intermittent fasting anyway. And she was so thankful. But and the kicker to this is she would sit by herself because she was ashamed that she didn't have the money or anything to eat. And so she didn't want to sit with other teachers because she didn't want them to make fun of her or, you know, give her a hard time. And she was kind of ashamed, she said. So, you know, I made sure, you know, she got her food every day. because again, I had a food allowance and it wasn't being used and it was plenty. And I think I helped a few teachers out that were kind of in the same position. But that just shows you, how hard some of these Filipinos will work, and a lot of them are under so much pressure to send money back to their family. Okay, so let's take a look at this example here. You have your food that you're going to spend, and you've got your amount of money that you can use for the boarding house. Now, typically, it'll say electric included. As you saw in that one video, the electric was included, but what they really meant was just the light. The light was included. If you want to charge your phone, if you want to run a little fan, if you want to use a rice cooker, all of that is extra. They charge a certain amount of pesos. And so it's almost becomes cheaper for them just to go out and eat at these little calendarias. But that's honestly, at $300 a month, it's going to be very hard. And not only that, you're going to have visa costs. You've got the extra costs that a lot of people don't have. You would have to have, you wouldn't have much money to go out, really, other than a few fast food joints. I don't know how, honestly, a foreigner would really live. And it's not... I think it's a lot different than what a foreigner might think. I see so many videos and I see so many people come out and say, I can live on $500 a month easily. You know what? $500 a month, maybe. If you went out and lived in the province in some small little apartment, you could probably find one for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, but they're not nice. Usually they're not. Some people might get lucky and find one that's pretty decent, but for the majority of foreigners, it's just, if you get sick or something, if an emergency happens, it'd be so easy to become homeless and on the streets. So and a lot of Filipinos, you have to understand, who make these salaries of, let's say, 15,000 pesos a month, 300 US, are living in a family home where they're not having to pay any rent or anything as well. So you got to bear that in mind. But anyway, this was just kind of a video that I wanted to show you guys what the boarding house would look like if you had to live in something very, very inexpensive here. And maybe you're down and out on your luck in the Philippines, and you may have to resort to going to one of those. Who knows? And then I wanted to show you what some of the meals would look like as well. That's why at the grocery store we were purposely pointing out some of the really inexpensive foods that a lot of Filipinos would eat. So anyway, yeah, so we're in the aisle. It's got kind of like the inexpensive meats, corned beef, very inexpensive. Same with the cans of sardines here as well.
Your favorite.
Oh yeah, beef loaf. Even the cat wouldn't eat it, remember?
Huh? Yeah, right.
Here we had a stray cat, wouldn't eat it.
Sardines.
These are very inexpensive, 22 pesos. And it goes even cheaper than that.
Yeah, just 18, 17. This one is expensive. Okay.
Yeah.
Fried sardines.
And the kind of sardines that I like are... Or the Spanish sardines.
Bueno.
Yeah, extra virgin olive oil.
95.
Yeah, maybe two of the extra virgin olive oil.
They're spicy.
That's corn oil though.
Oh, don't try the corn oil. It's crazy.
This is another thing that would be a common thing to eat, right? The dried fish. Yeah, garlic with hummus, or no?
Garlic
Humba.
humba. Show it. It's a Filipino favorite.
Okay.
It's 115. It's quite expensive. Okay.
And people would do 3-in-1 coffee. That would be the inexpensive coffees.
Yes.
Noodles.
we need it. Only those here.
That would be cheap, right? Meals.
13 pesos.
13 pesos. That's basically a meal. And
Yes, are Korean.
yeah, 7 pesos.
Famous here, 9 pesos.
9 pesos.
We need rice.
And of course, rice would be a huge thing. And
Pancit canton, which is, they said it's banned already because there's like chemicals that
well, we'll stay away from that. Anyway, thoughts, comments, all of that, go ahead and comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next time. Bye.
Come on, move along. I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it real slow.